Kia ora, this here is my belated review of the LEGO Star Wars 25th anniversary set of Darth Maul's Sith Infiltrator. This here is a remake of one of the first ever LEGO Star Wars sets released during the Phantom Menace theatrical run in 1999, so this is a very fitting release for this anniversary wave. Set 75383 Darth Maul Sith Infiltrator, containing 640 pieces in total. That's a pretty good number of parts, no? The set here is priced at 70 USD and 100 NZD, so more focused on that level of value at the end. The set overview here is a remake of the 1999 set and, well, a remake of the exact same Sith Infiltrator that we've seen a couple of times actually, but this is the first time that we've seen it in quite a few years. 2015 was the last time that we had this set making an appearance. That version had just slightly more pieces here, but it was actually apparently almost double the price. That's insane. And I was in the privileged position of using some VIP points to cover the cost of this set. This cost me $0 exactly. LEGO purchases that I made back in 2023 ended up covering me for this one. This is my first ever set of Maul's Sith Infiltrator, a ship design that I don't plan on getting multiples of, so I really hope that this is the best variant for some time. I was always intrigued with the previous releases, but only for those minifigures. More on this set's minifigure inclusions later on. The set's design does feel like it's captured here quite well. I'm actually personally more connected to the ship through the video games than the actual film. I spent more time flying around in this thing in various video games than I did admiring it on the big screen, so my attachment level may be different to yours, but I am still interested in the set overall. It wins me over with that smooth design for the top parts there. The best part about the LEGO Star Wars remakes is seeing that modern day approach. The Sith Infiltrator has that sword-like design I love so much, and building this did make for an enjoyable experience. While I was playing around with the ship, I started noticing some strange placements of the landing gear. You can see that the feet are angled here, and that's fine. It looks pleasing to the eyes. However, I noticed that this part of the build isn't actually flat. It's built on an angle instead. You can see that when the set is resting on the bottom parts of the model, it's not really on the feet. This is me trying to best demonstrate how the set responds to being held perfectly straight and flat, and then what happens when I let it go. The feet just aren't long enough here to be straight and held in place, so really the ship is kinda slanted. It's not too big of a deal, I suppose. I didn't notice it until later on, but it's still something worth mentioning. Now pretty much all of the play features here are located at the front of the ship. We've got these ingot pieces here which trigger the missiles. Aim, press down, and fire. You can fire one at a time or both. It's something that I really love. I love when the missiles aren't actually exposed like they are on the X-Wing sets, because I tend to accidentally trigger them when I'm trying to display. The coloring design here is really cool as well. You can see that from the source material, the shades of grey used all throughout. I think the build achieves the separations quite well. The section here does have some really nice small grooves and exposed parts, achieved by folding some pieces here and overlaying this chunk on top. Makes for some pretty nice shaping. Our final feature here at the front of the ship is this hidden little segment which holds our probe droids. Inside this section is interesting. You can see that we use some greens and some pink bricks inside. You'd never be able to tell though. And to let these guys out, we have a switch on the underside of the ship which is connected by a pull lever and a rubber connector. I really like this thing. It's a very simple pull back gimmick here. There's a dark red tile that holds that trapdoor in place. The rubber connector piece also means that this immediately swings back into place once you've dropped those probes. They drop out like bombs, and it's a pretty fun feature all around. You have to move the handle out of the way in order to put the door back in, but then you're sorted again. As for loading our probe droids back in, there is a smooth piece here which allows for them to just slide back into place. The probes are very simple in their design, and they're also improved from the last time we saw these in 2015. They feature a red stud for their light, some circular smooth tile discs for the body, and the stamp pieces used here instead for the antennae. We make our way to the cockpit area, which uses this really nice printed dome-like piece here for the roof. It looks to be a different disc compared to the previous releases all those years ago. The wings here are on hinges, so you are free to move them however you see fit. The dome opens up like so, and we get a quick view inside. Our back section has a lot of opening areas and some smooth parts here throughout. Really fancy like design, and I do like the use of parts here like the roller skate and those curved tiles. The section does open up to allow Maul to enter. You have not one, not two, not even three, but four opening parts here. Inside we find Maul on his scooter, which is actually just sitting here in place. Inside we have a small little control panel, and the designers made sure to include some clips which can hold his lightsaber in place. To close it up is rather easy. You just repeat the process but backwards. The scooter again doesn't actually clip into anything, it just sits perfectly in place. And speaking of, this is how that scooter looks. The scooter has been included before in the previous variants. This one features a little less color compared to the previous ones though. Very simple in its execution, but I do appreciate that inclusion quite a bit. So this brings us to our minifigures of the set, and first up here is Maul, who has appeared in sets pretty regularly actually, especially over the last couple of years. All of these figures in the set are exclusive to this one, though 3 of our characters here have been produced in sets before. Maul's robes here appear to be different from the previous figure's releases. The biggest change here though is that face print. They abandoned that weird smile a couple of years ago now, but unfortunately they also removed the eyes. His pupils are now gone, so there is very little personality in the face for me. I always say this when it comes to these alien-like characters. I don't like the design that LEGO have gone with their aliens over the past couple of years now. Named characters who appear with pupils in the media that LEGO are basing their sets on should still have pupils in the toys. It is a personal pet peeve of mine. You may not be frustrated by this like I am. Otherwise, he's pretty fine, pretty much the same thing that's been introduced back in 2011. The horns still look pretty good, the face print does bother me, but I do like the details besides the eyes. The only thing that's missing here was a hood piece. I do think it should have been included here, especially given that the originals only featured the hood because they couldn't do the horns back in 1999. Our next figure here is Qui Gon Jinn. He is a personal favorite character of mine and therefore a favorite minifigure too. Qui Gon Jinn here appears with the only thing that mattered the most for me, the poncho. The last time we got a Qui Gon Jinn figure was back in 2017. He was included in an excellent little jewel set, and I thought that that figure was practically perfect. This one is good, he's not perfect though, I'll explain. The face prints here, like the last one, feature some slight grey in the facial hair, which is a really nice little detail. I love the robes on the torso here. I can't recall if they're the same piece used in 2017. The thing that sticks out to me here are his legs. The last one featured some very nice colouring on the legs. LEGO here still haven't solved their printing problem, where printing onto dark colours ruins the colouring for the lighter tones. The robes that go onto his legs here should be the same colour as the torso. Very frustrating to still have this issue, which didn't exist a couple of years ago, but I do think it's a cost-cutting measure. Double-sided expression of an annoyed look, which is a nice variant to that 2017 one and more fitting for this scene. The best inclusion though, easily by far, is that poncho. Little Anakin Skywalker is another figure that is pretty basic. They nailed that design all those years ago, so all you can really hope for is some new prints. New prints is exactly what we got, so I'm happy here. Anakin was last made available in the 2019 anniversary sets, so this is a decent upgrade. Anakin here uses the Harry Potter hairpiece introduced in the 2018 Revival series, and it works so well on him that I actually thought it was just a reused idea here. Double-sided expression showing a shocked look as Maul approaches their escape. And this here is Saw Gerrera. For all those who don't know, every LEGO Star Wars 25th anniversary set releasing this year will feature a special minifig who we believe is based on a character that LEGO themselves couldn't fit into a set otherwise. Saw Gerrera has made an appearance in the Clone Wars series, Star Wars Rebels, Jedi Fallen Order, Andor, and most notably Rogue One, which is what this figure is based on. I have a lot of issues with the Saw Gerrera inclusion, unfortunately. The pros first, the prints are incredible here. We have a cloth cape with extra printing, an armor piece with all sorts of great looking details, and an exclusive face print that feels pretty good for a Forrest Whitaker likeness. The staff accessory is too small for him, unfortunately though, but that's a scaling thing with minifigures. It is supposed to be shorter in source material, so it just doesn't really translate as well as I would hope. Removing those parts here to see the details and alternate expression, it is amazing how well detailed this figure is, and I do think it is a good one. The issues that I have are with the accuracy. LEGO pick and choose when to use prosthetic arms and leg pieces. Saw Gerrera I think should have used that prosthetic leg piece as seen in the reference material here. The worst offender for me though is that color change. This must be the closest color that LEGO had to this design, rather than coloring him correctly. It is very noticeable to me how wrong the armor looks here, and a lot of people are going to have to pay $70 USD for this, so it should be an accurate minifigure in my opinion. Premium price is premium product. Finally, the hairpiece. I've noticed a lot over the years that LEGO don't tend to make accurate hairpieces for people of color in minifigure form. It is something that really bugs me since I do like to use all of my parts for making custom minifigures. Saw Gerrera's hairstyle in Star Wars is very different in its design here for the minifigure variant, and it's also colored differently with some grays mixed in. Overall, these three disappointing factors have me wishing that they picked a different minifigure instead. Every anniversary figure is included with a small display stand and a print of the anniversary logo. The logo here reads 25 years of LEGO Star Wars. And the set fits the current release of anniversary sets that we have, which is the R2-D2 and Tantive hallway that released back at the start of the year in March of 2024. More anniversary sets are releasing later this year. This is what our anniversary minifigures all look like standing together on their display stands. A box art for the set here shows the ship flying over Tatooine. We have an image of Saw Gerrera at the front with the big logo celebrating the anniversary, and then the other minifigures are placed off to the sides. The back of the box has the set displayed from a different angle, and we see Maul making his attack on Anakin and Qui Gon. The box also displays the features covered in this video. The instructions are very simple here. Inside we have an image of R2-D2 informing us of the anniversary, and then it's your standard type of instruction booklet that we all know and love. The back of the instructions here have the set all displayed, and we have our inventory list followed by the winning robot. Overall, this is a decent Sith Infiltrator remake. The price tag is pretty high, and the minifigures, while fine, aren't satisfying for that price tag. The minifigures and price are the two biggest flaws that are holding this set back. Like many $100 NZD sets, I just don't think that there's enough value here. LEGO seem to be really struggling at the moment making and scaling medium-sized sets. The bonsai tree is the same price in NZD currency, and it has at least 300 more pieces than this one. But then the Sonic the Hedgehog, Amy and Tails Island set, which I do really like, has half the amount of pieces, it looks the same size-wise, and it's $5 cheaper. But half the amount of pieces? 600 pieces does feel pretty great when the average is 300 to 400 pieces for $100 NZD, but you take a look at the wings here. Those wings are the same design as previous models, size-wise, but this time there's like 30 to 40 pieces that make that design. Most of the piece count here is dedicated to small little nooks and crannies. Parts count is mostly just little things that make the design appealing overall, so it's the same old line that we say a lot these days. This is a pretty cool set overall, but not for the full retail price. I can't remember the last time I felt like a LEGO set was worth the retail price at launch, but whatever that last set was, it 100% was not a Star Wars set. If you enjoyed this look at a LEGO Star Wars anniversary set, liking this video and subscribing to the channel does help to support more videos like this one in the future. Thank you very much everyone for watching, I hope to see you all next time.